Okay, we are now live for the first Tech Talk of 2025. Uh, Tom Gibbons, our e-learning Canvas guru, expert, and admin, is leading us today and talking about something that's not available yet, but will be soon, right? The new student assignment
Actually, it is
experience.
it is available and has been available, but it is optional at this point.
Right,
Starting
that's
in
right.
spring, it will not be optional. We have to turn it on for everybody, and there are reasons why, and I can talk about that. But yeah. Uh, so basically, what it is it's an enhanced workflow for students to make assignment submission and feedback access easier for them and more sort of apparent for them about what the intention is. So the first thing I want to do is show you how to turn this on in your courses if you want to play with it. You can also turn it on in a sandbox course or like a non-student facing course if you want. It works in student view, so you can go in as the test student and submit and see what it's like for students as well. But it is right now available on a course by course basis. So I'm going to share my screen and desktop one, share. Let me turn my little. Oh, I don't have the mouse pointer on this one. I have a little mouse pointer app that I usually use that allows me to highlight my mouse pointer, but I don't have that today. So, okay. So I'm in here just as a teacher. I don't have any special admin permissions or anything. This is just a teacher account that I use to test things. Um, so all I'm going to do is go into a course to turn this on, to turn enhanced assignments on, and I'll hit this again at the end because like telling you how to do this before you have a reason to do it may not stick. So I'm going to come in here as a teacher. I'm going to come into my course and I'm going to come down to settings and I'm going to go to the feature options tab. Feature options tab has a lot of like course by course features that are available. Right now, assignment enhancements for students is set as a feature preview. It's flagged as a feature preview. But that just means it hasn't been enforced by Instructure. So Canvas hasn't said like this is the workflow for everybody. It's going to look like this for everybody now. Because of some limitations with the integration with OneDrive and the integration with Google Docs or Google Drive, we have to turn on assignment enhancements for everybody in order to make that function in a way that makes sense. Because the error messages that people are getting with the way the submission process works for students, and I'll show you what this looks like too, but the way the submissions work for students when they error out, they aren't actually erroring out in a way that makes sense. And having tested it, having been told by Canvas support what we needed to do, and going, that sounds absolutely ridiculous. I can't believe that that's really the case. And then going in and testing it and seeing that, yes, indeed, that is what it is. We got to turn it on for everybody so that students don't keep hitting this wall and being very confused by what's happening because we are seeing reports of that happening. And like I said, I'll show you what you have to do to create that error. Not a big deal for you to be able to recreate it, but I just want you to know why we're doing this. But in order to turn this on, you go into your course, go to settings, go to feature options, find assignment enhancements dash student. You can actually expand it. It will tell you what it does. It'll take you to the assignment enhancements user group if you want to follow that link. But you just click on the little X icon and select enabled. It automatically saves. So that feature is now turned on in this class. I can turn it off again if I'm like, nope, that's confusing people or whatever. Once we enforce it at the account level, you won't be able to turn it on and off. It'll just be on. But for the next term, for this quarter, before spring, you can turn it on, see how it works. In a sandbox course, you might want to do it for your students, but they roll with it pretty well. But like, I would probably not, just because it can throw people if they're not feeling particularly confident in their technology skills. So yeah, so turn it on, and then once you turn it on, things start to look different for students. Well, how do they look different? So I want to show you what that looks like for students, and I'm going to show you how I submit work. So basically, what I'm going to do is come over here. I have just brought in my student user. You can see he's a little bit different. And let me do something really quickly here in my Drive. I'm going to upload a file into Drive because I want to just use the same file over and over again. Where am I? File upload. There we are. And I want to upload that guy. All right. So I just uploaded a Word doc, a docx Word doc. All right. So what I'm going to do here is as a student now. So I showed you on the teacher side, that's how you turn the thing on. Now, as a student, when I go to submit an assignment in Canvas, this is the original submission interface. This is what it looks like for me as a student when I go to submit an assignment. I'm going to click the Start Assignment button up here in the upper right-hand corner. And it's going to take me down to this interface. It scrolls all the way down, but like it's a tabbed interface. Part of the issue with this tabbed interface, and this is the old assignment interface, it makes it look like you can upload a file and then make a text entry and whatever, and do several things. But these tabs are not and tabs. They are or tabs. And it's not always apparent to students that these are this or this or this. They sometimes think it's this and this and this, but the only thing that gets submitted is whatever is active in the tab when you hit the Submit Assignment button. So I'm going to go over here to my Google Drive because I've got Google Drive turned on here for myself, and I'm going to select a file from Google Drive, and I'm going to use this docx that I just uploaded, and I'm going to add it, and I'm going to attach it. So see where this says invalid submission file type? That is the error that we are seeing, where this says, oh, okay, this is a docx, that's an invalid file submission type. Well, guess what? It's not. It's actually permitted. I have, and that is why we are going to do this, because this error makes students think they've done something wrong. I can do a file upload of this type, and I can go, all right, well, let me grab, it's the exact same file. It's the file I just uploaded to Google Drive. I can open it up and submit it. Ta-da! Okay, so now I've submitted it. I can see my submission details window over here. I can go look at, or links, I can go look and see that, okay, there's this thing. I could view feedback on it. There's no feedback on it yet because I just submitted it, right? But as a student, this is what the submission workflow looks like for me right now.
Yeah. And Sam made a comment in the chat. If I had $1 every time a student tried to submit in multiple tabs at once and then lost very important work from the text box or something, I would have a lot of dollars.
Yep.
So,
and
yeah,
that's actually why I usually recommend when you're setting up an assignment just for technology ease, pick one. Like students want to do something, like students may want to do something, you may want to provide them with the freedom to do many, many things. But unless it's critical to the assignment that they be able to submit using whatever, I would just pick one, right? Like, because like if you're, if you were in a classroom and you say, okay, I need you to submit this paper, you'd expect to get a paper, not origami or a performance or whatever. Like you might get those things if you said yes to that, but frequently we want to give people a lot of freedom when the freedom actually creates confusion and problems. So yeah, like if you can pick one, please pick one. So again, so this is what it's like to submit an assignment as a student.
In the old interface.
In the old interface.
Yeah.
What it looks like for the new interface. So I'm going to go to this tab that says Enhanced Submission. See, I have this whole magic of, through the magic of television, sub out thing set up. So, all right.
In another oven prepared earlier.
Yeah, exactly. Those are here. My other ovens, I have a quadruple oven across the top. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come in here as a student. This is what it looks like with assignment enhancements. Right? It's the same assignment, but it looks a little bit different. I can actually collapse the details window here, and I can see the rubric immediately. I can collapse that as well. And now I'm seeing my submission tiles here. But I can also just scroll down to those things just like I would have originally, right? Like scroll down to the thing. But like this, it just shows me like there's a lot of scrolling here, but I don't have to scroll if I don't want to, right? If I'm going to collapse this, get it out of my way. Cool. Again, I have all of the assignment submission types turned on here. I turned them all on so that we could see like this is weird, but like it's like the tabbing, right? But here it's saying choose a submission type. Okay, well, if I choose a submission type, it's not looking like tabs, it's looking like active buttons, right? Like I've chosen one. So that's cool. That's great. That helps, right? So I'm going to go here to Google Assignments or the Google Assignments LTI, and I'm going to select a file here. Again, this is the exact same assignment, just in a different class where I've turned on assignment enhancements. I'm going to pick that same document that failed before. I'm adding it. I'm attaching it. And look, it worked. It worked. I have done nothing different except turned on assignment enhancements. Nothing changed for that Google integration, nothing. So it fixes the problem that we were seeing. What is interesting here though is it does kind of reload and it's like, oh, okay, I have to know to come down here and hit the submit assignment button. Right? This is the only thing that's active right now. If I try to go to something else, it's gonna go, but it's the interface is a little bit clearer, like this is what you're doing.
Mhm.
So I submit the assignment. I don't like that this next button is here, but it is what it is. And then it takes a second, but look at what's happening here. So I've got this stuff collapsed, right? I'm not looking at this. This, it takes a second to render. It should render immediately or pretty close to immediately. That's not a complex document. Okay, well, what's going to happen is the doc viewer, oh, there it is. The doc viewer loads up right here for me as a student. So when I go back and look at my assignment, I will see right here, and it's saying next up, review feedback. So it's telling me what my next step is going to be for this, but I have no feedback yet. I could do a new attempt if I wanted to. I could go next to go to the next item in the module. I could add a comment here. So this is that sidebar comment thing that students can do and you can do in SpeedGrader. They can do that here too, right? But it's in a flyout. The UI is just different, slightly different here.
But I think that's
Um,
way more intuitive than the old way of adding a comment, because on the old
Mhm.
assignment interface, there's like a little comment box
Yeah,
when you
to
get
do
to
it,
start.
you have to
Yeah,
go here,
right.
then you have to go here, which looks very much like SpeedGrader.
Yeah.
But students don't ever see SpeedGrader, so meh, whatever. And then show rubric, right? Okay, I got to go into show rubric here. That's kind of annoying, right? I could also do it, by the way, from the grades tab. I could go to that assignment and go to like original submission week 2. And once it's graded, I can get into a conversation stream with my instructor from here. Like I could go in and actually, no, I can't from here. Can I? No, I can't. I have to actually go in again to that assignment thing. It's been a while since I tried to do that as a student, and yeah, this is obviously way easier. Like
Yeah.
right here, immediate in place.
Yep.
So, as a student, when I get feedback on an assignment, this is what it looks like in Canvas. So this is original feedback. So this is without the assignment enhancements. Again, this looks like this. This is the rubric. In this case, I have a freeform rubric here that just takes comments. I don't have criteria ratings with scores at particular achievement levels. It's just this was from a graduate course that I taught on learning management systems, and so I was giving people pretty extensive written feedback on things about particular categories. But for a student to view that feedback, they do have to go to either submission details or grades. In this case, I'm going to go to submission details interface, and I can show the rubric here, and I can see my grades, right? Grades for each criterion down the side. The comments are right here. These are the rubric comments. I'm also able to see if there were multiple graders or multiple student peer review, whatever. Could see that here. But in order to view the comments, the inline comments, I have to come here. I have to know to open this up, and then I get this tiny view window. And this helps. I can go full screen with that. You guys can still see my screen, right? When I went full screen. Okay, good. And so this is what I usually recommend students do in my classes, like just go full screen with this to really see the feedback, because otherwise it's too small. So like nice use of fonts, like what is this, like I can see all this like written feedback here. And as a former English instructor, the amount of annotation that I used to do on essays that I was positive students weren't seeing was pretty much because of this, right? Like when I initially started using Canvas, this view feedback link did not exist. There was actually a little page with a magnifying glass icon. It didn't say view feedback. There was no indication about what it would do. It was just a little page with a magnifying glass, which was not helpful. They added this probably about 8 years ago. They changed it to text. You just probably remember this. Some of you do. Anyway, so this is difficult in terms of students getting feedback, which I think is a kind of a critical component of a learning management system, is to be able to have this clear communication with students about their assessment and how they're being assessed and why, and like what their work is doing, like how it's functioning. And they really kind of have to dig to find this. And I have created at various institutions for myself as a teacher, but also as an admin, job aids for students, basically like help videos and guides, like this is how to find my feedback. It is critical that you know this. And then going, okay, you know what, pedagogically, maybe I need to start adding assignments too that activate that feedback, because I'm pretty sure they're not viewing it based on what I'm seeing. My first term teaching with Canvas, we were about 2/3 of the way through the quarter, English 101, a couple of sections, and a student goes, "Are you ever going to give us feedback on our essays?"
Oh no.
And I went, "I've been giving you feedback. What do you mean?" And he's like, "I just see a grade." And that was when I realized how much students couldn't see. But it took that long. And I was like, I have put in like hours and hours and hours of work that students are not benefiting from while
That
I'm
is so
trying to help.
demotivating.
Yeah, well, as a teacher and as a student, right? Like
Mhm.
both. So like how do we get this information in front of students in a more effective way? And while I'm not super jazzed about the assignment enhancements for students as being like the panacea, the thing that fixed it all, it is a better experience. So as a student, when I come into my homepage, for example, and I go, oh, okay, here's recent feedback. I could go directly to the assignment, but I can also just come here
Mhm.
and I can see, oh, look, this pops right up. The comment pops right up. As a student, I can go, thanks, right? Like, thank you. Send the comment. So there I am, just like putting it right in there. I close that out. So like the view feedback, like this is never hidden, right? It
That's great.
just pops up immediately. Here's my score. Well, I want to know more about my score. Okay, well, let's see here. Details. Oh, look, here's my rubric. It's filled out right here in line. I can see the scores. I can see the comments. It's displayed right here. But what's this? Oh, look, it's my inline feedback that is displayed right here in the window for me. That's great too.
And in a much
For
larger, more visible size as well.
Yeah, not this big, right? Like just like 50% of the screen. It's now like 70% of the screen width. And this isn't a huge laptop screen either. So it's like 13 inches, 14-inch screen. So it's not like giant, it's not small, it's kind of average. And this is actually how I usually test to make sure things are visible for students, is I just throw it over on the laptop screen, because I have a monitor that's probably way too big over here. But yeah, so like I can see this, and like students can comment on this. Like there's a drawback here, right? You know that students can comment on their inline commentary that you've left them. The problem is nobody gets notified when a comment is left. So when the teacher leaves a comment, students don't get a notification when an inline comment is made. Teachers don't get a comment when the inline comment is made here. When a student replies to a comment. So my workaround for that was always to tell students, make sure you get in here and tell me, hey, I've written some questions to you back in the document.
Yeah.
So this does solve some problems with viewing feedback generally. The assignment submission enhancements, these have been around for like 3 years, maybe. I think there was a reluctance maybe to turn them on because it is a change, right? Like does require like rethinking any support documentation that you might have in your classes for students about how to get to feedback, how to submit assignments, all that stuff is also in the guides in Canvas. So like I tend to lean into those pretty heavily so I don't have to remake stuff, but I do often make stuff to make it clearer and kind of more streamlined for my own students when I used to teach. Don't teach so much anymore. But yeah, like so this is I think it's certainly a step forward. It is not perfection, but it is a step forward. And not only does it help students generally, it's going to fix that error that we're seeing with the integration for not just Google Drive, but also Office 365 has that same problem. When you try to limit file submission types, it can't detect what file type you're actually pointing to in that drive. The only thing that it will take from the drive connections is a PDF. So Docs, DocX, Google Docs should work. They should auto convert to Word docs, but they don't. Like none of that works. PDFs don't work. Excel sheets don't work. Or no, PDFs work. Sorry, PowerPoints, which is like PPT, not PDF. So again, in order to do this in your course, if you wanted to turn this on for testing purposes, to create some support documentation for yourself and your students, whatever it is whatever you want to do with this, you would go into your course, whatever course, right? Go down to settings, go to feature options, and turn on not enhanced rubrics, assignment enhancements, assignment enhancements students. This one right here. There are a couple of things with the word enhanced, and so yeah, but this is the one you want here is the
we'll talk about the rubrics in a future
tech
talk.
Yes. Enhanced rubrics are kind of cool, but they're still in development. Slightly. They're mostly a little more finished.
Yeah, we don't have a 100% endorsement of those yet, but we will talk about them a little bit in the future.
Yeah. So, and they're like the layout and using them in smaller screen sizes and things like that, or being able to import them, update them, like those enhancements are actually pretty cool. But yeah, just to tease that a little bit, but assignment enhancements students available for you right now if you want. Not necessarily recommending you turn it on in the middle of a term for your students, but it will be in place for everybody starting in the spring.
And we'll also be updating. So we have a student facing Canvas guide course that we've built, and we'll update that page on there as well to reflect the new changes. And I see Janelle has her hand up.
Yes, thank you, Tom. This is, I have to just tell you that my heart cried a little when you said that thing about your students saying, what feedback? Because, oh man, ow, ow, ow. But man, we've all been there.
Yeah.
And so, okay, so this is, I agree with you. This is like a huge step forward. I think this is great. I'm really glad this is in place. My question, I suspect the answer is going to be no, but I'll give it a try, is can we require multiple I don't know if the word is mode, but multiple forms of submission. So for example, I was just telling Kayla before we started here that I've really started, I've increased video submissions for my students, but many times I would like for them to submit two things. I want them to submit a video kind of like showing me that they're reflecting so that I can see them, their eyeballs like thinking things. And I also want to see some sort of like a written submission too. Is that possible for us to require both of those in this new enhancement?
So in terms of require, if you mean technologically require, like as a submission requirement, no.
Yes. So instead
if
of
you mean like writing the instructions, yes. Like, so you can write the instructions in the assignment and say, I want you to do this, right? And then when they go to submit, give them, oh, I don't have it set up on this one. Give them, is it this one? Yeah.
Like the multiple options of ways to submit.
Just give them text entry box. Because what that does is it allows them to upload a document or to write text or to upload a video or to record a video. So you can, I'm going to start recording. Just because. Hey, here's my video. I don't know if this is going to work. Go with Zoom on at the same time. Finish. Save media. Oh, I still have my pumpkin in the background there. Okay. It didn't do my virtual screen or my virtual background either. But I can do that, and then I can say, I really thought about this a lot.
Oh gosh, this is cool.
And needed some time to, and you could do this before.
Yes, I can do this right now. I just
Yeah. And then you just go, all right, cool. There it is. Submit my assignment. I could have like multiple paragraphs here, but I would you just use the text submission option. It gives them full access to the rich content editor. They can upload documents in there and link them into their posting. They can add a video. They could record a Panopto video and post it as well. And also, because when you go into the rich content editor, you can get to the Panopto recorder right here too. Right. Okay. So there's loads of that is your most flexible option.
Oh my goodness. I just didn't even ever think about this. This is I've been doing I've been whacking my head against the wall for the exact reason that you just said earlier, where like, presenting all the options and then them selecting one and inevitably then undoing it all. Anyway, this is great. I'm so glad that I see that, and I see that I really can change the interface of this, and this won't right now, and this won't freak my students out.
And you can like change the constraints of the assignment text submission box. And then I would really recommend giving them really direct instructions, like, this is how, these are the assets, these are the deliverables that I want to see from you, like this, or like this, or like that. Like, tell them what the options are, but also like, here's how you get to the things.
Yes. Oh gosh, this is, thank you. Thank you so much. It's wonderful.
Yay.
Great solution.
Cool.
Okay. Do we have any other questions or comments before we wrap things up? And then also just to reiterate, we will make the student-facing assignment enhancements live for everyone starting in spring quarter. Until then, you can turn it on for testing purposes, preferably in a sandbox course. Probably not live course in the middle of the term would probably be a recipe for confusion.
I will be honest, like, this is what it looks very much like what current assignment submission processes look like in the mobile app. Right. So this interface brings us closer to parity with the mobile app as well. Gotcha. So if you have students who heavily use the mobile app, this may not be super different. But usually what we see is students kind of polarize. Students who use the mobile app to submit, that's kind of all they're going to use. But the majority of students, when they go to submit an assignment, will go to a browser rather than try to do it in the, like, not the majority, but like a lot of students who might check in on things using the app or just post discussion postings or whatever, they'll do that in the mobile app. But then they get nervous about submitting larger scale assignments or file uploads or whatever, or it's just easier to kind of build the stuff out in an actual computer, like laptop, whatever, and they'll use that for this assignment submission. So it might feel different. Just, tread carefully and make sure you prepare them if you do decide to turn it on in the classes.
Good advice. All right. Well, Tom, that was excellent. I think that this is a really great improvement overall. So I'm happy that we're doing this. And that's all we have time for today. So thanks everybody for coming to Tech Talks, and we will see you all in a future Tech Talk.
Thanks, you guys.
See y'all later.
Bye, everybody. Take care.
And the YouTube stream